I really think that I'm very lucky to have the type of fans I have and the people that are involved in my life that work, and I'm very lucky in a sense. But it's part of the job. I mean, I'm not doing this to collect fans. I'm doing this to work and doing this to give a good media outlet and be a part of a cast and crew and have a lot of fun. My favorite part of this job is being on a set and working with a crew and cultivating a crew and having that connection.
So working on something like Breaking Bad, where you worked with the same people for such a long time, becomes a different experience to just guesting in something?
Amazing experience. It's an opportunity. I started the show when I was 13 turning 14. I finished the show when I was 20 turning 21. And it was insane. It was a long run, and we were very close, and it's sad to see that the show's ended. Like it ended. There's no more awards. There's no more events. This is it. The next thing is Better Call Saul, and I'm not part of it though. But it's really amazing that they brought it to life and that it's continuing to keep on and doing the Breaking Bad legacy justice. And
have you been watching it?
I have been watching it. But I'm only on episode 2.
Okay.
I still got another episode to go.
Is it true that you haven't watched Breaking Bad?
Yes and no. I've seen the first episode of every season and the last episode of the last season.
Okay.
And that's it.
Well, why, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know. If I'm in an episode, I'm good. It's not really. I know what happens. I've seen it. I don't really need to watch it, and it's not really. If I'm a part, I'm not really interested in watching. I've never really watched any of the things that I've ever been in. I don't really watch interviews or anything. I don't really even look at when I get photographs. I don't really like to look at photographs. It's not my thing.
It's funny, given the business you're in, a little bit.
I know. That's what people tell me. They're like, that's your job, right? And I'm like, yeah. I'm not a big fan of getting my photo taken. Actually, as much as I do it, it's not my favorite thing in the world. Like if you, like I don't really. I'm not one of those people that are like, hey, let's take a photo together. I'm like, it's a very rare moment where I'm the one saying let's take a photo.
Does it make you uncomfortable then, or
no?
Not interested?
I mean, it's just not my thing.
Breaking Bad was an obvious game changer. What were you doing before then?
I mean,
if you can remember.
Yeah, no, I can remember. I was doing actually extra work. I moved to Los Angeles actually because of my little sister, and she was working. She was doing a Lucille Ball campaign, and she booked a few other pilots. So we had to get it. She was like, well, you need to get her an agent, and we're like, sure, and then I just happened to be with her one day, and the agent was like, well, why don't you try it out and see if you like it? And if you move to Los Angeles and you don't go to school, you don't join a gang, and you don't act, you're not going to do anything, really. You're not going to meet anyone. You're not going to make friends, and I started doing this to meet kids my own age and to make friends, and I started doing that and working in background and doing extra work. I was working on about 13 different shows doing background. I was working on Hannah Montana, Everybody Hates Chris, We, Seventh Heaven, and just a bunch of different shows, all in different varieties. And I recommend anyone that wants to get into acting to sign up for background, because they feed you, they pay you, and you get to see how a set unfolds.
In that beginning stage, what sort of challenges did you face with the cerebral palsy and going to auditions?
I mean, well, this was the thing, is when it came to my CP, I wouldn't put CP on my resume. I don't think anyone should really have to put their challenge or disability on the resume. That shouldn't be a factor. So I didn't. And I would go in and they would see my photo, they would see my headshot, and that should be enough. And I went in and I would go, and when I would get people, because I had a little bit more of a southern accent, and a little bit more of a draw, like more like Walt Jr. in the beginning, and that changed over time. Because when I feel like it, I can have really good pronunciation. I just choose not to. But when I was younger, I would stutter every once in a while. But when someone would be like, "So what?" I would kind of make them ask, and I'd be like, "Oh, by the way, I have mild cerebral palsy," and it would be an after effect. I would make them see me as a person first, and then tell them.
Did you want to act from a young age, like before you met your agent?
No, I didn't. It wasn't my goal. It wasn't my inspiration to be an actor. This job isn't glamorous as everyone tries to make it out to be. It's not. It's a lot of work, and especially in this industry. And people always try to make it as something it's not. And at the end of the day, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
And people need to look at it and treat it like that for a lot of the time. But the thing about it is you can have a lot of fun doing this business. And it's an amazing opportunity. It's an amazing life. And you get to see things and go to places and be a part of things that are so much bigger than yourself. And it's a lot of fun. And it's like I wouldn't be here if I wasn't in this industry.
What sort of reaction have you had from other cerebral palsy sufferers? Is it positive?
I mean, yeah, I've never had any bad reactions from anyone that has cerebral palsy. I mean, I don't think I mean, I have it. I'm not downplaying. I'm not like. It is what it is. I don't think people. I think people that have CP, and I give speeches, and I'm going to talk to Oxford Union tomorrow. But I feel that people that have a condition of any sort of condition, they understand what I'm saying more than most people, because they get it, they live it. When you live it, it's just you know there's certain things, and not a lot of people can allocate or describe that type of feeling, and it's almost impossible to describe what it's like living with cerebral palsy. I mean, I can tell you all kinds of things, but at the end of the day, this is all I knew. Mm-hmm. And this is like anyone else. This is all they know. This is what they live with. This is who they are as a person. And when it gets down to different challenges later on in life, I find it's a lot harder for people to deal with. But they eventually adapt, and they come to the realization that this is who they are, and it's eventually all they know.